My name's Griffith, and here are 5 tips for home sellers who have a home to sell priced under $300,000. Hey folks, I'm early for an appointment today. I'm always early for appointments, but now that there's, restricted travel on the streets, I'm super early for an appointment. So I thought I'd do a video about a recent blog post, and that recent blog post was based on a recent email. After I type out these whole emails, sometimes I'm like, well, I better turn that into a blog post because it's really valuable information. So this is a video that'll explain to sellers, and it may even apply to some buyers. It's valuable information about selling your home if it's priced under $300,000. In the Bonita Springs area, Southwest Florida, you know, 200 to 300 is entry level pricing. Entry level price is still a really hefty price tag. Sorry folks, it's all about location. So just to get into our market is in the 200 to 300 range, and those homes are not exactly in primo condition. A lot of those homes are legacy homes, older homes, cute as a button, but they come with some issues that make financing a little bit of a challenge. And some of that has to do with the age of the homes, lower elevation, and also being closer to water sources like rivers, creeks, and other low-lying areas. So one of the things that's really important for a home seller is to make sure you have a copy of your flood insurance or a copy of your flood elevation certificate. And if you do not have those, that's something you might want to actually work on a little bit to get some information about flood insurance, responsibilities for the next buyer. As a buyer, you're going to want to make sure that you understand all this as well, because flood insurance can be very costly in some of the older, lower lying homes. All of this information can be stored in the supplements of the MLS so that you don't get tangled up in a contract that falls apart over flood insurance. And the reason why it would fall apart over flood insurance is that many early or first-time home buyers may be right on the cusp of their debt to income ratios and be barely affording to get into a home. And a couple $1,000s a year in a flood policy puts them right over that edge. And it's better to know that up front than to find it out 2-3 weeks down the road when you're under contract and the property's lost its momentum in marketing. Secondly, the homeowner policy. You're going to want to have a copy of your homeowner's policy so they'll know how much the homeowner's insurance is, and especially if the home is wood frame and has some other legacy code issues that might cause it to have a little bit higher insurance costs than another home. You may have also had previously a 4-point inspection, and if you haven't, it's one of those things that's an experienced real estate agent will make sure that that buyer does get their 4-point inspection during the time of their home inspection. And the 4-point is usually due on homes that are a little bit older, and it sort of helps the lender and the insurance company, or the insurance company, gauge their risk. So they're looking at, plumbing and electrical, some of the building codes, etc. So just something to keep in mind. A seller's disclosure is very important, especially with the age of the components and the age of major systems. We're talking about your roof. We are talking about your AC, things that would also fall under underwriting conditions of FHA and VA mortgages. If a roof is, at the end of its life expectancy, it likely is not going to pass the VA appraisal. The FHA could have issues with some of those items going forward, as well as you have to have, some of the appliances to make, or most of the appliances to actually make appraisal. I mean, if you're at the high point of your pricing and those appliances aren't in there, that it is going to reflect on the appraisal report. Sellers, you've got to demand photos, and a visual tour, an actual visual tour of the photographer walking or panning the rooms, not a photo slideshow. Because when you see the same photos in the slideshow as you see in the MLS, the buyers just tune out. You got to give them a reason to fall in love with that home and understand the floor plan before they even dream about breaching the doorway. It'll filter a lot of your buyers out that are not qualified for the home. It'll bring you more buyers that are actual buyers actually buying homes that week. So it pays for itself. You've got to make sure that you are getting those photos and visual tours. Last thing, especially under 300, you need to have a floor plan of the home hosted. And the floor plan, not every home is going to have a floor plan. We have so much new here. A lot of our developers had floor plans, but from anywhere from $50 to $100, your real estate agent, your listing agent should be getting that floor plan made and having it hosted in the MLS and turn into a photo, so it's also in the photos. So a buyer can look at that floor plan and see if it's got the flow they're looking for, or see if the kids' rooms are in a logistic location that makes them happy or gives them worry. So, there's so many reasons why these things matter. Some of them are very important, and literally the mortgage will depend on it. The mortgage will depend on that flood insurance. The mortgage will depend on the rate of that flood insurance combined or opposed to the buyer's credit worthiness. So, there are a lot of experienced listing agents in the Bonita Springs area. I happen to be one of them, but if you're out there interviewing and I am not one of them, make sure that you're holding their feet to the fire with these things, because these are the things that trip up the closing process, that put your home back on the market, that make you lose momentum, that make you net less when you actually do close sale. And the name of the game is striking while the iron's hot, getting a home quickly from point A to point B for the most money with the least amount of hassle. And we're still in a market where people, even during the challenges of pandemics, people are still out here buying and selling homes. I'm out here right now looking at or opening the door for a home for a buyer in the mid 200s, entry-level buyer that is doing their due diligence. And part of it is we're researching all of these things because the agents have not done the work. And if this wasn't a credit-worthy buyer, this could be a very shaky transaction. So just a few tips for you, if I can answer pointed questions about any of these items, how to market your home correctly under the price point of $300,000, or maybe you're a buyer and you'd like to learn more about protecting yourself and your precious assets without throwing away good money after bad by getting into the wrong transaction. Just find a way to contact me through whatever social media you're watching this on, and I will do my best to get answers for you. All the best.